Don't do that. Change that. I got 8 bands in IELTS with just 1 week of preparation. So in this video, I'm going to tell you all the tips that I utilized to get this score so that you can also get a decent score. Make sure that you watch it till the very end. If you are scared of taking the IELTS exam, or if you want a quick 10-15 minute utilization of your time and amp up your IELTS bands, then this is the right video for you. In this video, I'll share the same points that got me 8 bands in IELTS with just 1 week of preparation. And yes, I'm not joking, just 1 week of preparation and 8 bands. And I have divided this video into 4 different modules as are in the IELTS exam so that you know how to ace each module, because IELTS is not about that you score 9 in one of the modules and maybe 5, 6 on the other one. You have to take a holistic approach, and the more that you get, the better it is, but then you don't have to make any one section suffer in order to gain more on the other one. That won't work, because most of the universities do demand that your IELTS score should be 6 each or 6.5 each. So make sure that even if your overall band is 7, 7.5, but you have got 6 or 5.5 in one of the modules, then also you'll have to retake the exam. So make sure that you watch this video completely, because I'm sure that you'll get a lot out of this, and you can also get 8 bands in just 1 week of preparation if you keep these points in mind. So before jumping into the tips, I would like to do a little housekeeping here. So if you are a student and applying for a study permit, then you need to appear for academic IELTS. But if you are applying under the SDS category, then general IELTS would also do. But if you are a person who is applying for PR, then you need to take the general IELTS exam. So make sure that you give the right one. Now let's begin with the points, and I'll start with the reading section, and make sure that you listen to all the sections carefully, because each of these is going to count and you are going to be marked on each, and the university admission is dependent that you get a minimum of 6 or 6.5 in 8. So you have to put in a good amount of effort towards all the sections. Okay, let's start with the reading module. So I have started with this because reading and listening, these are the 2 modules that you can score even 9 or 8. So make sure that you listen to these points carefully, and then you can get 9 or 8 bands in these, and they'll amp up your overall score. So if your basic approach was to read the passage carefully, word by word, and then go to the questions, don't do that. Change that. Read the first question and then go to the passage, because this way you know what you are exactly looking for in the passage. And if you were going for the earlier approach, you would have to read the passage, then go to the question, then read the passage again. So that is double the amount of time. And there's another tip. So for a few passages, the answers are in the sequential order. So if you are done with the first question, then you are reading the second question, then you can see that the second question might be in the next paragraph. But again, this is not applicable to all kinds of passages, but there's also a high chance that you can encounter this passage. So make sure that you can save your time accordingly, because you have already read the first paragraph and found the answer to your first question. So when you are reading the second question, you'll know if you encountered something like that in the first. If you didn't, then you can read the second paragraph, and voila, that saves your time again. And now the last tip for the reading section is that don't spend too much time on just one question. There is going to be no negative marking. So instead of focusing on getting that one answer right, make sure that you get all the others correct. What can usually happen with people is the opposite of commitment phobia. So you can feel that you have spent 1 minute on finding the answer to that question, and you have already committed that much of time. So yes, you are going to spend one another minute to get that answer correct. But please, that's a wrong approach, and reading has such a huge potential for you to score either 8 or 9 bands. I personally got 9 bands in my reading. So please do ensure that you don't waste your time on one single question, and you can complete all the other parts of the reading module on time. So these were the tips for the reading module, and I'll cover the writing part in the last, because that's the most notorious one. Many people get lower bands as compared to other ones. So I'll make sure that I dwell on that in depth so that you can get the most out of this. So make sure that you stick to the end, because many people have to retake the IELTS exam because they get less than 6 or 6.5 in the writing module. Now let's talk about the listening module. And again, like reading, listening also has this huge potential that you get 8 or 9. So make sure that you give your best to reading, and you have to give the best to all the 4 modules, but just make sure that you have a fair amount of practice so that you get those 8 or 9 bands in these 2 modules. So for listening, what you can do is that you can first read the passage and then read the first question, and whenever the lady or the guy starts speaking, then you can make sure that you answer that question, and before the second passage or the question, you will given time to revise your answers. But is there any advantage of doing that? You can no longer hear that person speaking, so make sure that you utilize that time reading the next passage, because that way you can expect what's coming and you can focus on the things that you really need while giving the answer. Also, when I was taking the listening module, then what I did was that I used to cut off the things. So this tip is for all those students who are giving it paper based. So I used to strike off the things that I know are not going to be in the answer. So you can do the same, because that would limit your options and you can focus on the one. And suppose in the end, if you have to take a guess between 2 options, you can narrow down that to 1, and there would be 50-50 probability that you would get it right, opposed to if you are considering all the options. So just recapping the listening points, make sure that you spend your time for the revision on the next passage so that you know what to expect. And the second tip is that you can strike off the options so that you can narrow down those later easily. So we are done with the high potential modules, reading and listening. Now it's the time for speaking. The number 1 tip in speaking would be to practice. Whenever you know that you are going to give the IELTS exam, make sure that you start speaking in English at your home with your friends. That will ensure that you don't stutter while you are talking to that examiner, and also you will feel the confidence in yourself, because you would know that you have already been speaking in English, so it's no big deal. That's just another day and that's just another person that you have to talk to, so you'll feel more at ease. Be formal and don't give casual answers. That includes not using slang words, so make sure that you treat it as a formal conversation. And the second tip is that give full answers. So suppose if the examiner is asking me, where were you born? So instead of answering it bluntly and saying Amritsar, what I can instead say is that I was born in Amritsar, which is famous for its cuisine. So make sure that whenever the examiner asks you something, then you don't just give one word answers. Now obviously, even if you are good at English, you can assume that I'll just say Amritsar, because that's what you do to other people. If they ask you like where were you born, you'll just say Amritsar. But this is how you take the exam, and they will obviously give you a higher score if you are elaborate in your answers, because that will help them realize that you do know English and it's not just that you have answered that question. And you can take an example that suppose you are learning French. If someone asks you something, you will just say a one word answer, because you can't frame full sentences. But that's not the case. You can frame full sentences. So make sure that you use this approach and you give complete answers and elaborate those answers. Now coming to the third tip, stay on topic. You might get excited and wander off to tell something else. That's normal for conversations to happen with friends, but not in front of the examiner, because they will understand that as a sign that you didn't understand the question, because that's not what they have asked you. So make sure that you stay on topic. And suppose by chance you did not hear or you did not understand when the examiner asked you that question, you have the full liberty of asking them to repeat the question, and this is how you can ask them. You can say, pardon, could you please repeat the question, and they will repeat the question for you, and then you can answer that instead of just grasping a few words that you could understand and going off topic. So if you did not understand, not a problem, ask for the examiner to repeat those questions. Now the fourth tip is to show off. Yes, this is the time to show off your vocabulary. So maybe use those words that you have encountered watching movies or while reading novels. This is the right time to flaunt those words. So normally you might say that, I'm happy today. No, don't say that. In this exam, say I'm excited, I'm thrilled. Use these kind of words when you're framing sentences. Another example of showing off can be, instead of saying paining, you can say agonizing. So make sure that you use the advanced synonym of that word that you normally use, and this will ensure that you get a higher band on your speaking. So let's quickly do a recap of what we have learned in the speaking module. So the number one tip was that be formal and don't and be casual. The number 2 tip is to use full elaborate sentences. The number 3 tip is that if you don't understand a question, then you have all the rights to ask them again. The number 4 tip is to fluent. Use your advanced vocabulary. This is the right time to show off. Now let's talk about the most dreaded part, which is the writing module. So there are 2 factors which they test you in the writing module. The number 1 is grammatical accuracy and the number 2 is grammatical range. Suppose that you are generally good at grammar. Maybe you are a grammar Nazi. So that's good. That's one section covered. But the second important thing that most people miss out on is that they don't use a wide variety of sentences. By wide variety, I mean simple sentences, complex sentences, active voice, passive voice. Apart from these, you can also use conditional statements. Make sure to incorporate words such as however, until, after, because, although. And if you use these kind of words and a variety of sentences, then you won't have to retake your IELTS exam. Then you will get a decent score even on your writing module. So for grammar, obviously you will have to practice and go through the concepts. But for the variety of sentences, maybe you are aware of those sentences and you can comfortably write them whenever needed. But for this module, you would have thought that, okay, if I am writing in this, it's just that the content that I'm delivering that matters. But no, the range of sentences do matter a lot. If your grammar fluency is top notch and you get full marks on that, but if you don't use a variety of sentences, that's no use because that will drastically reduce your score. So make sure that you use a variety of sentences, and in the end I'll also drop a list of the resources that I used. I did not take any coaching. I just watched videos on YouTube and then I did 1 or 2 mock tests. So that was it. So we are done with all the modules, but we are not done yet. So there are a few points that I would like to talk about which are not applicable to just one section, but holistically they would make a lot of difference. Number 1 point is that you might be the star of your class when it comes to English, but don't get overconfident here because it's not about just the fluency in English. It's also about how you take the test and how you ace this game. And for acing any game, you have to know the rules of the game. So if you get all cocky and think, oh, I don't need to do anything, I'm good to go, and you go there, no. You might score good, but then you wouldn't be able to score as much as you could have scored if you knew the rules. So realize your potential and do a little bit of preparation. I didn't take any coaching, I just took 1 week, but I didn't become overconfident and that did pay me a lot. So make sure that you are humble and at least take a look at what all things are tested so that you can incorporate those in the exam. Second tip is that it's also a game of time management. So make sure that you know from the start that if there are 2 passages that you have to write, this is the time that you have to give to this passage and this is the number of minutes that you have to give to the another passage. This way it will ensure that you don't run out of time and you have everything in a controlled manner. Now a third tip is that leverage reading and listening, because these are the 2 modules that can amp up your overall score. So make sure that you do these diligently. And also, of course, you have to focus on the other 2 components as well, writing and speaking. So make sure that you practice those. And writing especially, please do practice that. Make sure that you get hold of mock prompts and then you can practice your writing module because that's really important. Make sure that you get acquainted and you have the practice that okay, these are the kind of sentences that you will use. So there's not going to be a lot of time that you think there and then okay, I started this in my class 7th or class 8. Okay, there was this kind of sentence, I can use this. No, there you have to be bang on and just right. So make sure that you do all the mental preparation from home, and that you can do by practicing. I'm not saying that practice hundreds of passages, but just make sure that you have practiced enough so that you get acclimatized to the style of writing that you have to write in the exam. Number 4 is the sources that you can use for your practice. Number 1 is the sample papers. So you'll get that book when you register and you can practice modules out of that book. And the number second resource is that you can get on YouTube. There are a lot of resources available, free resources available. So if you are already proficient in English, those would do. So there's one particular channel that I followed for my IELTS preparation. I think it was Liz something, I'm not sure, but I'll do my research and I'll put the link in the description box so you can watch the tutorial of that lady. And now coming to the last tip, which is not a tip but it is an opinion. So you might be thinking whether I should take coaching classes. So the answer to this is that if you have studied in an English medium school and you feel that you have a good grasp of English, you just need to practice a few papers and you will be good to go. No need. There is a lot of free content available on YouTube. You can utilize that. But I would recommend coaching classes to those people who don't feel confident speaking in English or writing in English. For those people, obviously, this is a necessity. So if there is something that you are lacking in, coaching institutes can definitely help you in that. And they can make you practice, and with practice you can become more proficient, and then you can score a decent overall band and also make sure that you hit all the modules and score 6 each in all those. So in that case, I would advise that you do take the coaching classes. So this was it, and I hope that you keep all these points in mind and you get a pretty decent score in your IELTS. And I would be happy to know if by following any of these tips you did get an increment in your IELTS score. And make sure that you practice. Practice is the key. And my personal story, as I've told you in the beginning, I just practiced for 1 week and I used the mock papers and I used that YouTube channel that I've put in the description box, so you can take the help of that channel. And all the best for your IELTS exam. Let me know how it goes. And if you like this video, make sure that you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this, and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on my latest videos. I'll see you soon with my next video. Until then, take care and stay happy. Bye.